that. I have heard that with Zoom, but I don't know how to work that. So we're gonna turn it off.
I think there's a special feature that you have to hit or something like that to make the sound come through from the
There
back.
is. I wish I knew what it was. I've been looking for it, but I can't find it.
Oh, Google it. That's the best thing.
Yes. How are you, Yolanda?
I'm doing great. Doing
Beautiful.
great.
Nice to meet you
You
and
as well.
welcome.
Thank you.
Hello there, beautiful Brittany.
Greetings, greetings. Hello. Hello, Yolanda.
Hi, Brittany.
So I want to welcome you both. I'm gonna have, I usually start at 7:05 to give everyone a chance to come in.
Mhm.
But we will get started right away and we'll do introductions as well. Thank you both for having your cameras on as well. I didn't even have to tell you. So thank you. All right, so I'm going to share my screen and you let me know when or if you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So we are here today for the Sekhi Level 1 interest meeting. Okay. All right. So we can actually skip past this part, which is, where I tell you all to have your cameras on. Everyone has done that already. What I will start with is introductions. So I will allow Brittany to start because she is a co-teacher of mine. So I'll allow
Hmm.
Brittany to start.
Thank you so much. Hello, Yolanda. As you said, I'm Brittany Motley. I have been in the Kemetic community for 10 plus years now. It's been a while.
Yeah.
But I also studied under Mukajara for Reiki level 1 and also different organizations. And so I am a student of all things Kemetic science. So happy to join from you and learn from you as well as share information as well. So I'm excited for the journey.
I'm excited to have you. Dua. Dua, thank you for sharing that, Brittany. And Yolanda. Yolanda.
Yes, I'm Yolanda Carey. I live in Indianapolis, Indiana area.
Mhm.
And um, I am Reiki 1, 2, 3 certified in Usui Reiki.
Nice.
Um, I started my journey back in, I think, 1997 with Reiki. And at that time, I was living in Pennsylvania. And so I just recently moved here to Indiana about 3 years ago.
Mhm.
And so in Asui Reiki, there's always the story about, the master, you know, well, how do I say it? His beginning stories about Reiki and stuff like that. And I always knew, I was like, well, I always know that there's something more, to, for instance, Reiki in that it didn't just start in Japan. you know. So, and so I think my daughter actually saw you first and she sent me your information and I started following probably about a year ago, I think. And I was like, I knew there was something. There's Kemetic Reiki. And so I just, decided to, since there was an information session, I thought, well, I would try to get some more information about it and see what it's really all about, you know. So yeah.
Dua, thank you for sharing that.
Mhm.
Now, I'm curious, where did you and your daughter find me?
So I think it was on YouTube.
YouTube. Okay,
Hmm. I
okay.
believe it was on YouTube.
Give thanks.
Hmm.
Okay, well, I'm glad to have you here. Tell your daughter I said thank you for sharing the work and bringing you along. And
She may have been like we follow Yaki. I don't know if you're affiliated with that. I'm not sure. I just know she found you on YouTube and she sent it to me. So, and she does Kemetic yoga, so she's kind of like she does that.
okay,
So, yeah.
beautiful,
Mhm.
beautiful. Okay. Welcome, Ashi. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. If I'm not, please correct me.
It's Ashe.
Ashe. Ooh,
Yes.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay, Ashe, welcome in. You haven't missed very much. We're just
Great.
introducing ourselves. We have Brittany Motley here. She is she's my co-teacher. And we have Yolanda here. She found me on YouTube. She's from Indianapolis. And we have Ashe. So
Hi.
yeah, so go ahead and let us know who you are, where you're from, and how you found this work or why you're interested in Kemetic Reiki.
Well, it's something I wanted to try. That's number one. I wanted to see because I was told about it that it would be great work for me to try. And
Mhm.
of course, sorry, I didn't even say, but I'm from Brooklyn. I'm born and raised in Brooklyn. And it's just something for me to try. I'm young. I wanted to explore my options.
Mhm.
Here I am now. So, and
Oh,
I found you through, I don't remember how, but I um think it was on Instagram.
okay.
Instagram. Yeah.
Okay. Have you done any holistic work before, or have you taken any Reiki classes or had a Reiki session or anything like that?
I have not.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing.
Thanks for having me.
All right. So we ready to get started? Okay. So, mm, there we are. So today we're going to be talking about a few different things. We're going to talk about Kemetic wellness, starting off what the vision and the mission of Kemetic wellness is. Then I will give you an overview of Kemetic Reiki level 1, what's in the course, what you can expect from Kemetic Reiki. Also, the benefits of the Kemetic Reiki practice. We will have a Q&A session, and I will give you the details for registering for level 1 if you choose to move forward. Okay. Mm, okay, that wasn't supposed to happen. So let me go back to the beginning. And please bear with me because this is my first time doing the presentation on Canva. Normally, I just have a PDF and we do it that way. Mm, Okay. All right, I'll share my screen again. I didn't want to give away all the goodies before we got to it. So here we are. Okay. Okay. So we got through the introductions for everyone who is on today. So I will go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Sekhi Sekmet, And I am a Reiki master teacher in the Sekhi Kemetic Reiki tradition. I'm also an author, but I started off as a registered nurse. My history with healing, it actually goes back before nursing. I started off doing healing work as a volunteer. So since I was about 16 years old, actually, I've been doing volunteer work. I started off with a club in my high school called the Helping Hands Club. And I would go to this soup kitchen in the Bronx called POTS, which stands for a part of the solution. So that's how I started off. I knew I wanted to be active in school, and that was the only thing that resonated with me was volunteer work. So that's what I started off doing. I did that. We went to nursing homes. We did a whole lot of other things, and I've been a part of different charity and community service organizations since then. I continued in college as a part of my college's community service organization, which is called Caliber, which is under Kiwanis. It's the largest, actually, Kiwanis is under Circle K. It's the largest collegiate community service organization worldwide. Worldwide. So that is how I got my start in healing. And then went on to college for nursing. And I've been a nurse now for 17 years. And I've been doing that in different areas of nursing, pediatrics, uh, outpatient clinic, community nursing, all of that. So that's just what I do. It's the only thing I've known how to do. I'm also a certified natural health and wellness consultant. I'm a womb yoga dance practitioner, which is a form of Kemetic yoga that focuses on the womb. That is a practice that was brought forth by Queen Afua, who's one of my teachers. I'm also a scribe, so I teach the middle netter and Raseki practitioner and teacher. So that's me. Yeah. So I say here that I have over 17 years of healing experience, but it's pretty much my whole life, right? So I've helped thousands of people heal themselves. I did it as a nurse, and it was actually through my time as a nurse where when I would work with patients and see how frustrated they were with their experience being a patient in the hospital, not getting to the root of their healing. I felt that frustration. Like I always wanted to help them more, and I felt so limited by what I was doing in the hospital. And it actually wasn't until I had my own health scare when I had a car accident in 2015 that that passion started to come through more because I use holistic healing to heal myself. I had already started learning little things, but I had not become certified. But that was when I found like I had the push. And I had found actually my first teacher in the Kemetic sciences. His name is Mfundishi Jahutimis. And he is the one who I came to him and I let him know what I was going through at the time, that I really want to help my community learn how to heal themselves. I love nursing, I love the aspect of healing, but I don't believe in what they're doing in the hospital. Like, I just don't believe in it. And I know that there's another way. And I asked how I could do it. And he was the first person to begin showing me how to do it. Okay. So it was through my own healing that I realized what was missing in my community. And he was the first person to teach me that the medicine is actually in our culture. The medicine is in our culture. When I was healing myself from that accident, I started practicing yoga at the time, yoga and mobility. And he made me aware that, you know, when you start some of these practices, it's good, it's helpful, but you can start to get into other cultures like the Asian and the Indian, the Chinese, but you are a person of African descent. And they received a lot of that information from us. We were the first people to teach the rest of the world. So you have to know your culture. And that was the catalyst for me creating Kemetic Wellness, okay, which is rooted in African holistic health. So, this is what we do at Kemetic Wellness. We provide African centered solutions to chronic illness and generational trauma. All of our products and services are designed to encourage self care for body, mind, and spiritual wholeness. Okay. Our mission is to cultivate wellness in our community using ancient African principles and healing techniques. Okay. That is our mission. So, Ma'at, which is one of the most, it's one of the foundational concepts coming out of ancient Africa. Ma'at is a state of harmony and balance and right order. Okay. We know of it through ancient Kemet, but it's a concept that was cultivated throughout ancient Africa. It's just that Kemet serves more of as a mouthpiece for ancient Africa. Okay. So we had cultural practices like plant-based nutrition, aromatherapy, dance, yoga, sound healing, even though we may not have had those particular names for it. Those cultural practices kept African people 95% disease free. That is how our communities were prior to foreign invasion, prior to our contact with Arab cultures and European cultures. Okay. And as we have more contact with them, we began to adopt their lifestyles. And the more we adopted their lifestyle and became disconnected from our own culture, the more our health declined. So, African people, being once the perfect picture of health, are now leading in nearly every preventable disease globally. So, here at Kemetic Wellness, we adopt the Ghanaian expression Sankofa, which teaches us to go back and fetch the best of what has been lost. So we are resurrecting Ma'at and returning to the natural lifestyle practices that we flourished in so that we can reclaim health once again. And as I always say, your healing is in your culture. Okay. So these are our healing modalities at Kemetic Wellness. We focus on language, energy healing, nutrition, and sacred movement. And I've given it the acronym LENS. Lens. Okay. All of these together address the four levels of wellness, which is what I saw was missing and is still missing in allopathic medicine. Okay. Everything is treating the symptoms there. So we focus on healing conditions at the root and all four levels of wellness: the mind, the emotions, the body, and the spirit. This is holistic healing. Okay. It's to bring us back to a state of wholeness. So the language that we focus on is Meduneter, and that is the ancient language of Kemet, what we know today as Egypt. When you see these letters here at the top, Meduneter, you see it without the vowels. It's pronounced Meduneter. Meduneter. Some people say Meduneter. Okay. And it's translated as the divine words of the Creator. And we know this commonly as hieroglyphs. That is what the Greeks called it, but the ancient Africans who spoke and wrote in this language called it Meduneter. Okay. The reason why this is important is because it's the oldest African classical language that has a vast amount of varied literature on all different topics, anywhere from art, science, spirituality, health, mathematics, all of this was cultivated in ancient Africa. So what it's doing is giving us insight into how African people thought, how we viewed the world prior to foreign invasion. So it gives us a key to be able to repair ourselves. All right. When you learn a new language, you learn a new way to think. And we know that language is actually the best expression of a culture. Okay. So Middle Necha is the only language that we have access to that has this much literature that was developed prior to foreign invasion. This is why it's so powerful as a tool for mental healing. It allows us to hear the purest voice of ancient Africa, uncorrupted by Western ideals, Western ideation, and Western culture. Okay. So the next modality is energy medicine, which is Raseki. Okay, Raseki Kemetic Reiki. This is the ancient art of energy healing. And as you can see here in this picture, this is a picture of me at the Power the Plant Fest last August, um, or Plant the Power, one of them. What it does is it is working to clear stagnant energy in a person's auric field. Okay, so we have a physical body and we have an energetic body. Our aura can become very weighed down based on certain things that we've experienced, traumas. I know we've seen people sometimes we've seen people who have a very bright aura, big, beautiful aura, and we've seen people who you can just look at them and tell they had a hard life. And that happens when you don't know how to clear those things away. You're holding on to a lot of those traumas. So that is the purpose of energy medicine and Kemetic Reiki, is to teach us how to clear away those traumatic things that have become stuck in our energy field. So we use the power of focused awareness and concentration, okay, meditation, breathing, different postures. We use our ancient symbols, particularly those symbols in the Middle Necha. We have Hekau, which are words of power. In English, we will call them mantras. Okay. We use crystals. We use aromatherapy. We use sound. As you can see here, I'm using, what are these called? Um, I'm drawing a blank.
Pitchfork or
Tuning forks,
tune.
dua, dua. Thank you, Brittany. And we use guided meditation as well to begin to restore balance and harmony. And we're working at the energetic level, which can help to bypass that conscious mind and work on the subconscious. Okay, so that's Kemetic Reiki. We also use high vibration nutrition. High vibration nutrition. Okay. So, a part of following an ancestral lifestyle means eating our ancestral foods, those natural, organic, indigenous foods, just like our ancestors ate thousands of years ago. One of the most detrimental things that foreign cultures brought was their food. Okay, so most of us are eating a GMO diet now, micrograved food, canned food, fast food, all type of things that our bodies have no idea how to process, and it's making us sick. It's making us sick in every way. And most people are not connecting their mental problems, their emotional problems, and not even their physical problems. They're not connecting to the food that they're eating. So our goal is to teach that cultural nutrition, how to eat natural, organic foods. Your stomach has a culture. Now, this comes from our great teacher, Dr. Laila Africa. May he rise in power. Okay. He was the first one to teach us that your stomach has a culture and that it takes over 2,000 years for the stomach culture of any group or species to change. That means if you're a person of African descent, eating a natural, organic, plant-based livity. Okay, we don't say diet over here because I don't want you to die. So eating a plant-based livity is most beneficial to you, even if you're living somewhere else. Okay, so that's what the nutrition is, teaching you how to eat for optimal health. And then last is sacred movement. Okay, so this is a picture of me doing a womb yoga dance. It is a Kemetic yoga form that has 69 yoga poses and 39 dance movements focused on womb healing. Womb healing, okay? Um, every session is guided by breath work, meditation, including moving meditation and sacred movements coming from the Kemetic text. Okay. Some of the benefits of womb yoga dance are inner peace and reawakening, pelvic and core strengthening, emotional release. A lot of those emotions that we hold in our womb, some from various types of trauma, whether it is sexual trauma or birth trauma, or just the trauma of being a woman in a patriarchal world that tries to teach us through different means, including religion, that you are a second class human being. We can hold a lot of that in our wombs. So that is the purpose of the womb yoga dance. And it's going to help improve flexibility, body balance, and coordination while activating the waistline. Okay. So that is lens. Those are our modalities. Now let's speak specifically about Raseki. These are the foundations of Raseki. And the picture here on the screen, this is Mut Kajara Niyaya Nebethet. She is the founder of the Raseki Arts Temple. She is the one who brought forth the practice of energy medicine in this particular form. She's also a student of Queen Afua's, and she held a lot of different sister circles teaching womb work and all of that before it came to her that we needed to teach this work by giving our ancestors credit. She was also a Reiki practitioner. I'm not sure if it was the Usui form, but it was a different form of Reiki. And as she started to learn more about the Kemetic tradition, she realized that this information goes deep, and this was the stuff that our ancestors were doing. And so she decided to create a system to bring that forth, and that is what Raseki is. Okay, so it's based on the ancient energy healing systems of our ancestors in Kemet and throughout Africa. It's a holistic healing technique, meaning it is natural. Okay, it's natural and it focuses on the mind, body, spirit. Okay, and balancing all of these energies. So let's talk about the meaning of Raseki. Okay, we'll break down the word. Ra, okay, Ra is the Kemetic word that describes the divine and universal light energy. So Ra is the energy that powers the sun. Okay, if we know what the sun does, it powers the entire solar system as we know it. All of the planets revolve around the sun. So it is a very powerful energy that was highly revered by really all indigenous people really revered the sun because without it, there is no life. There's literally no life. Everything that exists would cease to exist if there was no sun. Okay? So that's the meaning of Ra. It powers all of creation. Then we have Sekhi, and there's different meanings of Sekhi. It can mean to play, to overthrow, to beat a drum, or to kindle a fire. Now, a similar word to that is Sekhem. And Sekhem is our internal vital energy. That is the Kemetic word for what we would hear in different languages, such as Moyo in Swahili, or Prana in India, or Ki in Japan, or Chi in China. In China, okay. So we use the word Sekhem to describe that energy within us, our vital energy. Okay. And that vital energy connects us to the power of Sekhmet. Now, Sekhmet is seen here in this picture to the left. She is the deity that we use and we venerate here in Raseki. Okay, she's the mother and head deity of Raseki. Sekhmet is known as the patron of all healers. So she's depicted as a lioness, sometimes just as a lioness. Other times she's depicted as a woman with the head of a lion. Okay. She is known as the destroyer of all evil. She is one who detests anything that is out of ma'at, anything that is out of order, truth, righteousness, and balance. So she is a warrior spirit. She's a warrior and she's known to heal, but in a very fierce way. She has a lot of different characteristics. She is a healer. She can heal by plagues and fires. So she is the patron deity of Raseki. Okay. She's the destroyer of evil. She's the divinity of menstruation. And we activate our Sekhem. We activate our Sekhem through prayer, through meditation, through yoga, dance, initiation, or spiritual work. And we use Sekhmet to help us embody the characteristics of a healer. Okay. We use Sekhmet to help us embody those characteristics. All right. Any questions before I move on? Okay. We'll have a Q&A at the end also. So if you don't have any questions now, I'm sure you will have. Okay, so now I want to show you all what a Raseki session actually looks like. So this is a picture of a Raseki healing circle that I did in Yonkers, New York. I'm from New York, in case you didn't know. So this is the healing circle. We usually start off with any Raseki session by cleansing with smoke. This is called smudging. In Jamaica, we would say burning out, okay, or burning, okay. Typically, we use the term smudging. So this is how we start off. And now here's another image of another session. Can you all see the full screen, or is this thing at the top in the way? Okay, excellent. So as you can see, there's you have the client or the person who's receiving the session who is on a massage table. This can be done on any hard surface, a floor or a bed if you're doing this for a family member or something like that. And we would use crystals in the process. Sometimes we will cover the person with a blanket or a light sheet. And you start off, after you've cleansed the aura with smoke, you will use your hands to clear away any energy on the person's aura. Okay, so that is what's happening here. They're starting to cleanse the aura. And here's another session. This was in Philly in 2023, I believe, 2023. And you can see Mukajara is here with me, as well as another Raseki master teacher. Um, and you can see some of the different elements and things that we use. Um, you can lay your hands gently on the person who's receiving the treatment, in the areas where you feel like the person needs it. So you can see that she's being supported on her shoulders. She's being supported at her heart center. There's also instruments here. There's a rattle. There is a drum. Okay. And as you can see, when we do Raseki, we wear white. The white is to deflect negative energy. And we cover our head because your crown chakra is very sensitive during spiritual work. So we want to cover our heads. Okay. We also wear different forms of protection. So you will see us with cowrie shells, crystals, things like that on, copper bracelets, all of that. Okay. So this is what a session looks like. And as you can see, she's releasing emotion at this time. Sometimes when you're doing sessions, people may cry, they may scream, they may want to get up because there's a lot of things moving. Um, they may turn over in a fetal position as well because there's emotions that's coming up that they have ignored for a long time and maybe didn't even realize they were there. Okay, so these sessions are very powerful. And here we have another one. And sometimes you will see us lay our hands on, and that's what Raseki is. It's really the ancient African practice of the laying on of hands. And you'll see us do this even in the church. It's something that's never left us. Even when we want to get away from African spirituality, it's in our blood. It's in our blood. And we'll do it in other spaces, but leave out the Africa part. Maybe you can't get away from being African even if you wanted to. Okay. So sometimes you'll see us laying our hands directly on the person and sometimes away from the person from a distance. Sometimes using different symbols like a pyramid, which is another symbol of healing and resurrection. Sometimes we will use pendulums as well, either to read the person's energy or to clear the energy away. Okay, so that's what we see here in this particular picture. And here's another one. This is that same picture that you saw earlier, but it's much bigger. And it's really cool when I do these outside because when I have a sign up saying Raseki healing session, people be walking by, they're like, oh, okay, whatever. They're like, they have no idea what that is until they see somebody getting it. And then I will never sit down again. As soon as I do one session, everybody lines up. And that's pretty much what happened here at this event. People realized that, okay, that might be something I want to try. And it was very interesting doing this in front of so many people. But yeah, this is what the session looked like. And we'll look at a video of another retreat. This is Mukajala, who's working on one of the students who's going through level 1 and 2 training. And she's using a tuning fork on him. And usually this is how the session will go. It would be one-on-one. Very rarely you get the chance to be in a group where there's a whole group of people working on one person, but it feels great. It feels great. Okay. Okay. So now let's talk about what Raseki level 1 is, okay? So you just saw what a Raseki healing session looks like. Level 1 is the initiate level, okay? In order to practice on others, you have to first learn how to heal yourself. So level 1 is where you are learning about energy medicine. You are learning the things that you need to do to strengthen your own Sekhem, to build up your Ashe. Okay, we got Ashe in the building here. We're going to learn how to build up our Ashe. Okay. Yes, Annette. So, Raseki level 1 teaches you how to build up your energy. A lot of us, our energy is so weak from trauma that we've experienced, from those low vibration foods that we eat on a regular basis, from poor thinking, from emotional buildup. We have to learn how to release those things, and we have to be at a certain state of balance to be able to practice on others. So it's a journey, and level 1 is the beginning of that journey, learning how to strengthen your Sekhem. That's where you start to learn the Raseki techniques, and you begin to practice them on yourself. You're going to go through, well, I'll tell you all the things that you're going to learn. I'm going to outline the course. So that's what level 1 is learning and practicing on yourself. Okay. So the way that we're doing it, this go around, we have 11 online lessons. Okay. It's a hybrid course. So you have 11 lessons online where you're going to go through. You also have assignments to complete. Okay. At the end of every lesson, you have assignments. So everything that people call shadow work, inner work, that is what you're going to be doing in level 1. It's a lot of inner work on yourself. And when you do the work, that's where you get the transformation. Okay. So you have to go through those lessons. Once you go through the lessons and complete the assignments, you submit the assignments to me. And then we go to the second part, which is practice. You have a practicum. So we will be doing a 4-week live intensive. Okay, you must complete the online lessons and the assignments to get to the practicum. Okay, this is so we have people who are serious about what they're doing. I do not do this work for money. I do not do this work for just to say I had students. I really, really want you all to get the transformation. I really want you all to have the full experience. So this is why I do it this way. Um, to make sure that you've gone through the lessons and you've done that work. And then we have a time together where we practice together. Okay. So we'll have 4 weeks of an intensive where we'll put into practice all of the things that you learned in those lessons. We are going to go through the cleansing of our auras. We're going to go through releasing that traumatic and stagnant energy. All written assignments must be complete and submitted prior to entering the intensive. Okay. Now, after you've gone through all of that, you have an ascension at the end of it. Ascension is like our graduation. Okay. It's our graduation. That's where I pass on the healing energy, the ability to heal to you, and you become certified at level 1. Okay. And after that, I'm always here to support you. You can reach out to me at any time. We also have our community, which is growing. It's called the Alchemy of Black Healing community, and that's where we practice all 4 of those modalities that I just mentioned to you, the lens modalities. Okay. So after doing Raseki, you have the option to join our private community for further learning and access to more tools and more guidance on your journey. When we're doing this work, a lot of people say that they are alone, which is common because most people are not doing this. Most people are very focused on the Western world. We're stuck in the Western paradigm. You're not going to have very many people around you who even know what the hell you're doing. And that can feel very lonely. That can feel very lonely. So my goal was to create a space where we have each other, you have other people who are going through the same thing as you, who are learning, just like you're learning, who are working on themselves and who are achieving self-mastery through doing their own work and who are living their purpose. Okay, so that is how level 1 goes. Now, these are the topics that we're going to talk about in level 1. We have the history of Raseki and the foundations of Raseki. We're also going to talk about the attributes of Ma'at and how to live in Ma'at. A lot of people have heard of it or they've seen the pictures of Ma'at and it looks beautiful and all of that, but living in Ma'at is a different thing. It's a different thing. Okay, so for those of us who are committed to ourselves, we're committed to our own healing. We're committed to healing our families, like giving our families a different experience than what we had. And also interested in raising the community as well, you know, contributing something different to the community than what you had. That's who Raseki is for. We also go through energy, what energy is, okay? How to raise your energy, okay? Raise your vibration, learn the things that are depleting your energy and how to begin to release those things. Okay, we'll learn about the aura as well as aura cleansing techniques, okay? Also the Aritu, which is the word that we use for chakras, okay? We'll also learn about dietary practices, so how food affects your energetic frequency, the type of food you need to be eating, and the type of food you need to get rid of, okay, in order to strengthen yourself. Okay, we'll go through breathing techniques and meditation. We will also speak on spirit guides. So those are the different guides that we have who are helping us develop our intuition, guiding us through our lives. We'll also learn about Sekhmet, okay, how Sekhmet can assist you as a healer. Okay. We learn about the different symbols that we use on ourselves and also on others when we're doing healing work. We'll learn about Raseki principles, okay? It's very important to know what Raseki principles are and to respect them if you're coming into this practice. Also, how to heal using colors, how colors affect you mentally and emotionally and spiritually, how to use them to heal yourself. We'll learn about the different hand positions and the different self-treatment positions. Okay, so all of that energy work that you saw us doing on other people, on clients, you learn how to do them on yourself first. And lastly, we go through ascension, which is our graduation. And yes, we can do a virtual graduation. Okay. So these are the benefits of Raseki. Okay. Raseki helps us to alleviate anxiety and clear away old trauma. This is so important. Working in nursing, I see a lot of people who are on serious medication for anxiety and depression. Almost every patient that I take care of has a diagnosis of anxiety or depression. Well, people think it's not that serious, but those physical symptoms also come with mental symptoms as well. And people don't know any natural ways to deal with that. People are using drugs, whether it's prescription drugs. I see a lot of people who have substance abuse issues, alcohol dependency, okay, different things like that, because people don't know another way. They don't know another way. Okay. So these are the benefits of Raseki, helping you to clear away that old trauma, relieve depression, relieve anxiety. There's also inner child healing. Inner child healing. You will also gain self-awareness from doing this inner work. Okay, the things that a lot of people are running away from, it's like running away from your own shadow. Okay, running away from your own shadow. You're never getting away. You're never getting away. It's not going anywhere. You have to actually face this stuff. You have to actually face it. Okay. It's also going to help you to improve intuition, mental clarity, and perceptiveness. Okay. We all have intuition. Intuition is something that is natural to all spiritual beings. Animals have intuition. The difference between us and them is they don't question it. If you spook an animal, they're gone. They are gone. But human beings, we're so smart. We're so smart that we get all types of hints and we be like, huh, did that really mean that? Or, we form all kind of questions instead of going with what your intuition is telling you. And the more you ignore your intuition, the more you make it actually weak and difficult for you to discern what's correct. The more you strengthen your intuition, the more you listen to it, the clearer things become. And you begin to move faster. You begin to look supernatural to other people and super intelligent to other people because you just know. You know, like you know, like you know, because you got so used to following your intuition. So Raseki helps you to do that. Improve your intuition and your mental clarity. Yeah. Okay. Some more benefits of Raseki is healing past traumas, things that you haven't let go of yet, things that you tried to bury that are still ruling your life. We're also doing ancestral healing. Okay. A lot of us, unfortunately, did not get an inheritance except for trauma. That was our inheritance. We didn't inherit money, we got trauma. So we have to clean some of that up, okay, so that we don't pass it on. So ancestral healing is definitely one of the benefits of Raseki. You'll also have community support. So you can always send me a message. Once you've been one of my students, and even people who aren't my students, but they send me messages, I always answer my messages. So I'm always here. Okay. And if you choose to be a part of the private community, the Alchemy of Black Healing community, you have the support of many other people. Okay. And again, wholeness. Wholeness is the major benefit. A lot of us are walking around in a defragmented state. And the way Western society is set up, it's set up to keep us that way. Even the medical industry, where you go to the doctor for one condition and all they're doing is treating the symptoms. They never give you a full picture of how you got in this position in the first place or heal anything at the root. So it keeps us very fragmented. Okay, our goal is wholeness. So Raseki is a sacred system. It's a sacred system. Okay, don't come in here playing. Don't come in here playing, okay? It should be guarded as sacred, okay? So you want to honor the Raseki system. And remember, your healing is in your culture. Okay, so let's talk briefly about the difference between Asian Reiki and Sekhi. So Asian Reiki is based on Dr. Usui, who brought it forth. Okay, it's based on him. Kemetic Reiki is based on Ma'at. Okay, it's based on Ma'at, which is a foundational spiritual principle from Africa that exemplifies truth, justice, righteousness, right thinking, right order, and balance, harmonious balance. Okay. We use our ancient African symbols, our Kemetic symbols, and Kemetic Reiki versus Usui Reiki or the Asian Reiki, which uses Asian symbols. Those symbols have a connection to us. Those Kemetic symbols have a connection. Okay. And when you use them, you are hearing the voice of your ancestors. You're using somebody else's symbols, you're connecting with their ancestors, which don't have anything to do with you. Okay. In Asian Reiki, they have one symbol. Okay, so sorry, they have no symbols in level 1 at all. There's no symbols in level 1. And in Kemetic Reiki, there are 3 symbols that are used in level 1. In level 2, there's 15 symbols. 15 symbols in Kemetic Reiki. In the Asian Reiki, there's 4 symbols in level 2. Okay. We also have attunement. Both the Asian and the Kemetic Reiki have an attunement process. That's what we call the ascension. Okay. Different words for the same thing. That's the attunement process. Asian Reiki, of course, is going to be using Asian techniques. We will be using African techniques. Okay, so you will feel a different connection with it. We are using Kemetic wisdom in Kemetic Reiki, whereas in the Asian Reiki, you're using Asian wisdom. They use palm therapy in Asian Reiki. So do we. Okay, so healing through the hands, the palms. Kemetic Reiki uses sound therapy as well, crystal therapy, color therapy, and aromatherapy. Okay. The Asian Reiki works with the earth element, mainly the earth element. Kemetic Reiki works with all of the elements: air, fire, water, earth, and ether. We also incorporate dietary practices, spirit guides. We utilize Sekhmet. And Kemetic Reiki is African centered, whereas Asian Reiki is Asian centered. So you have a different connection with the work when you're doing Kemetic Reiki. It's a different connection. I've had plenty of people who will tell me after they've done a session that I've done a Reiki session before, but this felt totally different. This was different. Okay. All right, so now let's talk about the different levels. We know what we're getting in level 1, but I'll give you a brief overview of the other levels. There's 5 total levels of Kemetic Reiki. Level 1 is the initiate. Initiate simply means that you have permission to learn. It just means that you are beginning. So it focuses on the self-healing. You're going to learn how to sense and how to cultivate your own internal vital energy. Okay. You learn how to develop the spiritual and mental connection using Sekhi principles. This is where you're going to begin gaining your experience by working on yourself first, then on friends and family. So you can use these techniques on those who are close to you. Level 2 is the practitioner level. So that's the first level where you can begin working on others outside of your friends and family. Okay. At the practitioner level, you're going to get more tools. Okay. And this is where you become certified to work on others as a practitioner. At this level, you're going to strengthen your knowledge as a healer. It helps you to build concentration and spiritual power and to raise that Sekhem and that Ashe. Okay. You're going to enhance your intuition through the use of pendulums, sound therapy, higher levels of concentration, and you'll also begin using more symbols, up to 15 symbols. Okay. Crystal therapy. That is not supposed to say mentors. It's supposed to say mantras. We don't even use that word around here. Okay. Mantras. Okay. Chakra balancing, aura cleansing. This is where you also learn distance healing, where you can heal others who are not in your immediate vicinity. You can do that virtually. So I do virtual Reiki sessions as well. Okay. Or you can even do distance healing using someone's picture when they're not in a virtual space with you. Okay. You also learn more tools for spiritual protection. Level 3 is the master teacher level. And this is for those who wish to become teachers of the work, okay, who want to teach Raseki to others. It allows the practitioner to begin to pass on attunements. So as some of you all who go on to take the course would be receiving an attunement from me as a master teacher, you will be able to pass attunements to others. When you go through this level, there's a purification of rites. So you do air purification, water, fire, and earth in order to attain this level. Okay. It is definitely not something to go into right away. It's recommended to practice for at least 6 months before attempting to move on to this level. However, I will say if you are really serious about what you're doing, it will likely take you longer than 6 months because you're going through your own healing journey. You're doing your own healing work. There's a development that's happening. Okay. Level 4 is the priest and priestess level. They call it the Sunut. And that is for those who want to work deeper with the Nechert Sekhmet. Okay, those who want to work on a closer level with Sekhmet. Only master teachers move on to this level. Okay. So this level, level 4, is initiation into the priesthood of Sekhmet, and there are strict requirements that need to be fulfilled at this level. So there's much more of a commitment. Okay. And then you have level 5. Level 5 is where you become the teacher of teachers. This is where the master becomes a keeper of sacred knowledge and mysteries. Okay, you are a keeper of the knowledge. The amount of commitment, dedication, time, practice, and energy that the Sunut gives to their work is going to determine the amount of time it takes to reach this level. And this is known as the Reiki. There's only a handful of people who've reached level 5. Okay. Raseki is actually a quite large community and still growing. There's over 2,000 certified Reiki practitioners worldwide. So it's large and growing. Okay. Now we're going to hear from some of our alumni some of my personal students. I love hearing what my students had to say. So let's hear. First one we'll hear from is Tanya. Tanya. She left us this review on our Google page. She says, Raseki Kemetic Reiki is a must if you're ready to self-reflect, grow, and heal. I'm so glad I took the journey and so thankful for Banaset for her wisdom, flavor, and style. I know the ancestors are proud. Ashe, Tanya. And this is Leslie. Let's hear what Leslie had to say.
So I originally joined because I had experienced a lot of trauma in my life. And I was in dire need of healing. And, you know, I, I, I don't know, I was kind of drawn to Bonnet through her teachings on YouTube. And then I found her on Instagram. And I did a reading with her, not a reading, but it was a Reiki session, I believe. Yeah. And I instantly felt at the end of it, during and at the end of it, I instantly felt like the heaviness and the weight was lifted. And then from there, I did a yoga session with her, and I felt like as things, the tension in my body was moving. And I knew that if I wanted to completely heal myself emotionally, mentally, physically, that I had to be consistent with it. And so I was, and I have been. And if any of you would have met me during that time or a year ago, and then you meet me now and have a conversation now, I would definitely say, because even my friends and family have said there's been a transformation. I mean, I'm still on that journey. So that's what forced me, literally. Like it's been a mental hold on me to not only stay with, you know, Bonacep, but also the group and the sisterhood, and just steadily growing, evolving, transforming every month, every week. I feel like I'm learning something new from the community that she's created. And I'm very grateful for it. I'm not sure my growth or transformation would have been as impactful if I didn't, you know, come across this group, because she's also, Bonacet has also introduced me to other people, and, you know, a temple that I'm a part of now is because of Bonacet. So I'm grateful. Wow. Thank you for sharing with me. Sure. Thank you.
Okay. And we have one last one. We're going to hear what Tisha had to say.
Tisha, it was wonderful having you as a student. It was wonderful having you as a student. And I'm really curious to know what your experience with Raseki was, what your experience with this class was, what you took from it, what you learned from it, how you feel it can help you or benefit you and the community as well.
So before this class, I was actually super nervous because I have a religious background, and I was crying because I thought I was gonna get punished by God, and I was gonna get, and then all I thought about is about a journey of many ways that God connect to other people that are not in religious space places, basically. And I said, I'm gonna do it. So when I did it, the more classes I went to, the more I was able to release a lot of negative emotions. especially with the breath work homework. I was amazed by what is possible when you actually like center yourself with creation, like just everything around you, um, yourself, your spirit, understanding that you're part of it is what this class taught me a lot about that, and understanding that you have to protect everything that you put in your aura, in your just in your day-to-day life. Try to think of like those Mahat rules, like there's 10 commandments, but there's 42 laws that we need to really know, because there's like so much that we're neglecting because we feel like um we're given a history of things that are not necessarily in order, but we have these beginnings that should be able to give us enough to understand that there's more. So pretty much understanding those Mahat laws and practicing breath work and just being in prayer also, because I also thought you guys wouldn't pray here for some reason here. For some reason, I was like, oh, they're not gonna pray here. This is something completely different. And when I got here and you was doing it, I was like, okay, this is not nothing evil or not connected with the creator. So I continued and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, thanks.
Yes.
Thanks. Thank you for sharing that with me.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Okay. And that is the end of my share with you all on Sekhi. I hope you all learned a lot about what the practice is about, and I would love to hear your questions, your feedback, what you think. So I'm opening the floor up to you all.
I'll start, but you already answered my question in the midst of it. But I was going to ask, will learning Reiki help me heal my own and clear my own energy? That's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah,
So
thanks. That's a good question. But I'm glad that you got the answer to it. And that's exactly what level 1 is going to do for you. And the more of the work that you do, the more healing you will experience.
okay, because there's so much that has happened just recently, and I'm questioning everything. So I'm considering it, and I heard you say, being extremely serious and very, you know, serious about the deities. And I have so many questions, being young and stuff. I don't want to question the ancestors and stuff like that. But, well, no buts, but yeah.
No, this is not Christianity. This is not religion.
Mhm.
This is not a space where we tell you don't ask no questions. No, 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 no. This is a space where you ask all the questions. You question anything and everything. It's only when you ask the question that you're going to get an answer. Anybody telling you not to ask no questions, that's like a pimp, okay? That's
Okay.
somebody trying to bamboo. Don't ask no questions. They're trying to
Okay.
stronghold you. That's not what we do here. That's
Um,
not what we do here.
I'm
Ask
just
no
back and forth. I am back and forth right now between the crossroads, I feel like. So I'm
questions.
figuring out. So I could go on, but that's it for now. And thank you, by the way.
You're very much welcome. Ashe. Thank you for being here, Ashe.
No problem. Alright.
Hello.
Hello.
So I thought the presentation was amazing, simply because you know, like I said before, I had the Reiki, Dr. Sui Reiki 1, 2, and 3, and I just knew there was something more to it. And this, but I just didn't know what it was and where I could find it. And my daughter, like she's sitting literally right there. She, she's the one that
Hi,
introduced.
daughter.
Hello.
Headscarf
She has a headscarf on, so she doesn't want to be on
Okay. I'm sure you're still beautiful, girl.
camera. And so this like really answered my question as to there has to be something before the Asian, you know. And this just like, and I love the slide where you have the difference between the two, you know. It was kind of at the end. um but I have a question. Do you still work as a registered nurse now?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And you said you're in New York.
For now.
Uh-huh.
That is coming to an end. I'm part-time as a nurse now.
Oh, okay.
And eventually that will come to an end.
Mm-hmm.
This
Okay.
work is taking over. It's taken over. So
Right.
one day that will be all that I'm doing, and I look forward to that day.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, and I'm from New York. I am not in New York now. I'm
oh,
in
okay.
Columbus, Ohio now.
What part of Ohio?
Columbus, Ohio.
Columbus.
Mhm.
Okay. I've been to Columbus many times.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I have an aunt and cousin that lives there, some cousins that live there. So yeah. And that's
Oh,
only about 3 hours drive for me.
okay.
Yes.
Oh, Indianapolis.
Uh-huh.
Okay, good.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so you could come through for a session then.
I certainly can. Another question I had, can you break down, I know you broke down what Raseki is, but can you give like me a definition of, you know, how to say what it is? You know what I mean? Does
How
that
to
make
say
sense?
what
Like,
Raseki is like,
I'm sorry, say again.
how to say what Raseki is in a
Yeah,
concise way. Is that what you're asking?
yeah, just the definition of what it is. Like, for instance, when I say Reiki, it's a Japanese healing modality um, that, you know, helps, you know, bring you back into balance and help you, you know, with your emotional and spiritual self and things like that. So I was just wondering what a good verbiage of what I gotta get the words right. Raseki, right?
Raseki.
Raseki. What
So
Seki is.
it's an ancient African form of energy healing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in just a few words, it is African energy medicine.
Oh, okay.
African energy medicine.
Okay.
Hmm. You
Got
can
it.
even, if someone wants a mental picture, you can say the laying on of hands, because that's
Mm-hmm.
what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And you know what's so interesting that, you know, when I say that, you know, about Reiki, the Sui Reiki as well, when you tell certain people it's laying on of hands, they look at you in a certain way because they think that only religious people can lay of hands, you
Yeah.
know, and I just find that so interesting.
Mhm.
Like nobody else can do except the preacher, you know.
But that's how religion trains you. They never want you to make that connection between with yourself and your stuff. But
Yes.
once you learn it, it's over. Like it's over for them. That mental
Yes.
control that they have over you, that mental hold that they have on you, is a wrap when you
Yes.
start practicing your own culture. So they
Right.
never want you to go there. They use I've been likening Western culture to what people are calling narcissistic abuse. They use this
Mm.
smear campaign to demonize everything about us, everything about our culture, so that you never want to look over there.
Yes. Right. So true, so true.
Mhm.
So I've, you know, been in this, journey for a long time because my late husband was from Brooklyn, New York. And so when he was here, well, even back in the day, you know, he was African history. That's all he was, you know, African history, and studied African history and taught us, myself and my daughter, African history. So when we talk about Dr. Africa, you know, I've met him in person. My when I was in Pennsylvania, we're from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. So at the time they had um, Sankofa book group, you know, a group.
Right.
Yeah, and they invited Dr. Africa, Laila Africa there, and he taught us about nutrition and healing and stuff like that. And we have his books. We have so much stuff here, you know, and of course through the journey, you know, we've been taught about Ma'at. We have all the 42 negative confessions here. So I also, and myself and my daughter, so I also follow Queen Afua. I have her book. I've been into her sessions online, you know, so a lot of this stuff I I know and kind of understand, but you know, there's always like a deeper lesson for me to learn. And I like this right here to, you know, to do that. Let's see what else. Let's see what else did I have here.
You were taking notes.
I look, I got about 6 pages of notes. I was right. I'm a note taker. I'm old school. So
I love that. I love that.
yes, I'm old school.
That's an excellent quality. I love when I see a note taker because I know that you're serious. And when you write it, you own it.
Yes, yes. I thought it was interesting that you at the beginning you talked about the lens, and the first one was language, and the spelling of the pronunciation of Medunetra. We said Medunetra, and
Yeah.
you just said it was Medunetter,
Yes.
right? So that was like an eye-opening thing because I've been saying it wrong all this time.
How were you saying it?
Medunetra, right?
Oh, okay.
What do you say? Oh, she said Medunetter. Metunetter.
Metunetter. Okay. So you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
You're just saying it fast, I guess.
Some people say metunetter. Some people say medunetter. The classical way to say it is medunetter. That's the classical way. But it's just
Nature.
like people have different pronunciations in English. Some
Yes.
people say, you know, us Americans say potato, you know. The Brits may say potato, you know, different ways of pronouncing different things. And
Right.
when you get into the language, you'll learn why people say it different. I'm not going to get into it here, but
Right.
there's a reason people say it different ways. So
Right. Okay. And then you know, of course, you know, we've been taught about the deities and Shango and Ma'at and uh the Yoruba culture, and you know, so it's just like a lot that we've done, and this right here seems like this community seems like it kind of like um how do I say it, it sums everything up that we've learned, because here in Indy we don't have this community here. You know, there's bits and pieces of African community, or you know, groups and things like that, but they're not this deep, in other words. You know, so I really like it. And there's a church here, the name of it is Witherspoon Presbyterian Church, and their symbol is the Gayame symbol.
okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm drawn to them because of that symbol. And then they have all of this African art, and they do, you know, they do Kwanzaa, they do a lot of things African, but yet they're still a church. You see what I'm saying?
Well, they're trying to reach back somehow.
Yes, they are.
The way there yet.
Yes, they are. But you know, you still get the same messages, you
Mhm.
know, from the pulpit that you get, you know, at other churches or whatever. But you know, I'm just drawn to them because they embrace that culture, even though their teachings are similar to that of, you know, the the religion community or whatever. But anyway,
Yeah.
but I guess I'm done. One question I had. I know you mentioned the wearing of the scarf, and you mentioned that it covers the crown chakra and it's the most sensitive part, I think, of the body. But can you explain why you cover up your head like that? And I think I know, but can you just explain? Because I didn't get to write that part down.
Okay. So the crown chakra, this is your connection to your highest self.
Hmm.
And a lot of times when we're in any places of learning, but particularly spiritual places, um, you can lose a lot of energy in that space. And having your head covered allows you to focus and concentrate. It
Mm,
helps when you're in uh, spiritual communities, spiritual spaces, temples, teaching, learning. And especially when you do energy work, you want to concentrate that energy. You want to have almost like a cloak over you, uh,
mhm,
of protection, especially over that area, that crown,
mm.
which is like your connection to your highest self, your intuition, your mental clarity, all of that is just a way of protecting your crown.
Okay. All right. That's cool. All right.
Yeah.
Any questions? Oh, were you gonna say something?
Oh, I just wanted to say that first of all, I really enjoyed the presentation. She woke me up out of my nap, and so that's why I'm in my head start. Um, I just really like that you talked about just that the covering of the head,
Mhm.
um, and how you all wear white. And I just eat that up. I love that. And it reminds me of Mama Odie from Princess and the Frog. And I just love that. But the I was really happy that you said something because um she went to level 3 Asian Reiki and I just did level 1. And the reason I didn't really go any further is because every time I did Reiki on someone, I feel everything that they feel, even if they didn't know that they had those issues. So if they had knee pain, oh my God, my knee is in pain. If they had trauma in the womb area, I'm in pain. And I'm like, why
Wow.
do I have to deal with this every single time?
Mhm.
Um, and I'm like, I'm not really feeling this, and no one knows like why this is happening and what I can do about it to make it stop. Because afterwards, I'm drained and I'm in pain, and it lingers for a while. But I'm like, I'm not going any further um with that until I can figure that out. So I really like that you mentioned the covering of the head and the white reflects the negativity. That's something I had never heard before. And that makes so much sense. Um, and I
Thank you
really
for
like,
sharing that.
yeah, of course. And I really like that you touched on like whole, well-rounded wellness.
Mhm.
So, you know, we got the spiritual portion, we got the emotional portion, we got the physical portion, like, you know, the eating and of course diet. And that's something that you don't get in the other Reiki. And that's something that was another reason I kind of stayed away because I it didn't quite make too much sense in that respect. Um, because, you know, it's like, okay, the spiritual part is one thing, and then but then I realized that these people who come in, they have a terrible diet. So like, it's like, okay, well, I healed you here, but you're still yourself, and you're gonna come back to me, still, you know, with the same problem. And I don't want to have to keep healing them over and over with the same issue,
Yeah.
because they're creating that.
It doesn't in front of the camera. So she can see.
Beautiful.
So she can see your beautiful face.
Yes.
She want to see you talking.
Yeah, and
What's your name?
okay, and so it's like,
What's your name, daughter?
Yasmin.
Yasmin. Okay, beautiful.
Thank you. And yeah, it was like that doesn't make any sense because I also understand in the more recent years that like our chakras are not just, energetic things, but they're like a ganglia of nerves in our actual physical system. And so if these people are having poor diets, they're like throwing it off. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense. So I just kind of stayed away for a while. And this really kind of like restored my hope. I'm like, this makes sense. It just makes sense. So I just want to thank you for that presentation.
Thank you. Thank you for eavesdropping. I'm glad that you were here. I'm glad that you were here, especially because you were the one who put mama onto it. So thank you for being in the room. And I really appreciate what you shared. Yeah, there's a lot of differences. And what you talked about in terms of receiving the energy, it just sounds like energy transference. And this is why we do the things that we do a little bit differently with the wearing certain colors, covering your head, and also learning how to replenish yourself and working with Sekhmet. A lot of people do not understand why we work with Sekhmet because you are channeling through Sekhmet. That's why she's the patron deity of Ra Sekhi, so that you're not using your own personal energy to do this work. You are empowered through our ancestral deities to help us. You're just a channel. It should not be draining you. You understand? And you also learn how to clear your aura. So as you're doing work with other people, you know how to protect yourself and also how to cleanse yourself after you do work so that you're not taking their stuff on with you. So thank you for making that point. That was very important. And I appreciate, Yolanda, also the things that you mentioned as well. I'm glad that you're 3 hours away. And you saying that there's not a whole lot in Indianapolis. There's not a lot of that here, even in Columbus or at all in the Midwest. And I think that is why I was pushed here. But I really want to say I was divinely guided here because growing up, I never thought I would have left New York, like anybody from New York. Nobody from New York wants to leave and go anywhere else. Okay. You think New York is it until this, circumstances push you out. And I was led here to the Midwest. I started out in Cincinnati and then eventually moved to Columbus. I'm glad I'm in Columbus now. It's a much better city for me. It's much more compatible with me. But I think that I am here because this area of the United States needs this work. There's a lot on the West Coast. There's a lot on the East Coast. The holistic space is even, I don't, yeah, I guess I could use the term saturated. And that's where you have the big dogs, you have the Infundishis, the Queen of Fours, all the big names are in New York. So they don't really have anyone here in the Midwest. And I talked about this recently. I think I've been talking about it a lot, so I don't even know who I told, but I posted it on my YouTube channel recently that I was at a sound bath here in Columbus a few weeks ago for the full moon. And oh my gosh, I don't know who told me to go to these white folk sound bath right after I saw the movie Sinners. I just felt like I was surrounded by vampires and I never closed my eyes. Like that was the first time ever getting a healing treatment where I couldn't relax at all. It was nothing but white folk in there. It was a full moon and I just could not relax. I could not relax. And it made me miss those spaces that I was in New York. It made me miss those holistic healing, the culture. The culture is everything. When I say your healing is in your culture, I mean it. I mean it, you all. Being in that space where, they learn these practices and they learn from us, and the way they do it, it's just not the same. It's not the same. The energy is not the same, the spirit is not the same, the love is not there, even though they doing the things, but it ain't the same. And I couldn't relax and I just felt like, oh, like why am I here? And all I did was I just started journaling. 'Cause I knew I wasn't gonna close my eyes in that room. So I just woke up, I turned around and I started journaling. And a part of what I wrote in the journal was, I'm here because I need to bring this work forward. So I am teaching actually Sekhi in person this summer as well. I'll be doing it in person for the first time here in Columbus. So I'm excited about that because I know that we need to have those spaces. It's not it's not enough to go and be like the only Black girl in a space of white folk doing our stuff and ain't even doing it right. So
Wow, that's amazing. So here in Indy, we are part of a small community of people who we get together like once a month, and some are African American. There's maybe like a few white people or whatever, but our the thing that brings us together is Reiki. And we practice on each other, and there's other things like sound healing, and we get together on the full moon and things like that. So we have a few people here that we can kind of connect with, but again, like you were saying, it's not that cultural thing. Because we were in Harrisburg, we were able to go to New York and be in the culture and be around, surrounded by the people, and feel that different love and different vibration, when we're doing anything.
yeah.
So, and that's what I miss being here in the Midwest, because the Midwest is like a Bible belt, and that's what they kind of call it.
Yes.
And people are very kind of conservative, and and what they don't realize is everything that they think they know is backwards.
Yeah. They don't know. They don't know yet. And I think that's why it's very important for me to be here. I
Mm,
feel actually grateful. The more and more I think about the fact that I'm in a space where really nobody else here is doing this,
mm,
I think is very important. So thank
yeah.
you for sharing that.
Sure. And when we were in Harrisburg, we were also involved in the mysteries, in the mystery school, but that was I think it was King Solomon lineage or something like that, but that was I can't remember all the titles or whatever.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was also mostly white too, so yeah.
Mm.
So we've done a lot of stuff, in this realm of space. But this right here, that's like the ultimate. Is you can feel there's a difference, and even just in the words, and just in, just listening. And then as I'm listening to you, I can feel my energies flowing, and it's just like, oh wow, okay. It's really cool actually.
Dua,
Yeah.
Dua. I want to
Mhm.
give Ashe a chance to say something. It looked like she wanted to speak.
Okay.
Oh, no, I didn't. I was just really like, well, I did actually had a couple thoughts, but I agree with the whole like the communities, because I've tried a couple things myself. Well, not as probably not as much as, but I was been trying to find a community that's like gets me, especially with what I'm going through right now. I haven't expressed everything that I've been through so far because I've been trying for a couple months to get people to understand what's going on with me right now. And of course, I will express that like I'm having a little bit of doubts and fears of, it not going. And then on top of that, making sure that I am committed to this because I know I could be all over the place sometimes. Even out here, like I can't. And then when you talked about covering the head, I'm supposed to have it on all the time, but I get caught up in
Yeah,
it's easy to get caught up out here in Brooklyn. So
I hear you. The commitment is really to yourself, though, Ashe. It's really a commitment to yourself. If you are committed to yourself, you will do the work that's necessary for you. So I just wanted to give you that.
thank you.
And your head is covered, Ashe. You got your head covering on. You more equipped than you think you are.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
So, and I want to give Brittany a chance to say anything that you want to say. Since we're going to close out, I want to respect everybody's time. So,
Oh, thank you. I have no additions. It was great to glean in. I can always, learn more about things. I'm more of a student of Medu Netur than Reiki. But I'm always for, I mean, I completely agree with Bana said that your culture is your medicine, and the more that you can embed yourself in that, just the better off you are. But I also just want to say to all of you is, even, well, Ashe, like, I know you mentioned your age and all of that, and it's like, I'm still trying to find God. Like, this will be a journey for your entire life, and that's the beauty of being a soul on this earth, is that you will always be seeking, and that's what we're supposed to do. And anytime when the student is ready, the master appears. That thing will come in front of you. Bono set will show up on your timeline out of nowhere. When the student is ready, the master appears. And so just go with the flow. Follow it, learn everything, read whatever book attached to it, go with the flow. And life is supposed to be fun, and it's smacking everybody in the face right now, but we're supposed to be fun. We're supposed to play in the sandbox, when it comes to exploring our spirituality. So remember that and find ways to have fun with this. Give yourself lots of grace and space to digest this stuff, and just really, really trust source on this. Trust the divinity that is guiding your path, that guided you on this Zoom tonight, that's introducing you to these people, this community. Really trust it. And for you, Yolanda and Yasmin, I think it seems like you're really on the path. You just need to slap the blackness on it. But it seems like you all got it, And
yeah.
so really, really excited. Like I said, I'm glad we all found each other, and I'm looking forward to the community and how we collaborate moving forward. So it was great listening to you all tonight.
Thank you. Thank you, Brittany. Always love hearing from Brittany. Um, y'all will learn more about her as we go on. She's amazing. Brittany is humble, but she is amazing. This is my PhD backup that I have in my pocket. Anytime I need a little extra information, I hit up Brittany. She is a master of the Middle Netter, of Kemetic history and spirituality, and she really does this on a deeper level. So I'm so grateful to have you here backing me up, Sinette. I appreciate you. So I have left the link for the Kemetic Reiki class to sign up in the chat here, and I will also send it out to you all after this meeting. Okay. If you all open the chat, you can see it there. And Ashe, if you driving, don't click on nothing.
No, I'm not yet, just now.
Okay. You'll get the link in your email, okay?
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. So thank you to everyone for being here on this call today. I really appreciate everybody. And I hope to see you in another class very soon. And I'll close out by saying Shem Em Hotep. That means I leave you in peace.
Asante Sana.
Hotep.
Hotep.